So you might be asking yourself, hey Matt, what records did you pick up this time? Well... starting things off with Eric Carr and his Rockology album. This is a collection of demo and rare tracks from him that he had written and recorded previous to his death in 1991. Eric Carr, of course, was the drummer for Kiss for a period of time. Also, Bruce Kulick produces this. Bruce Kulick was his Kiss bandmate during that era. And Bruce Kulick also performs on this, along with Adam Mitchell. Adam Mitchell was a co-writer for Kiss. He wrote some songs on Creatures of the Night, Hot in the Shade, Killers, and Crazy Nights. So he's on here as well. Yeah, it's got a really cool orange vinyl record. And also there are some extras that come with this record. I'm going to show you those briefly. There is a booklet with Eric there, and some live performance shots for him, along with liner notes. Merchandise form, in case you want to get yourself an Eric Carr coin, or a bobblehead doll, or a drum head. And also a promotional card for the Rockheads. The Rockheads was an animated series that Eric Carr was working on. I don't know if it ever got released in any way, shape, or form. If you know, let me know. But yeah, and some ad stuff on the back as well as a card, a collector's card for the Rockologist. The Rockologist, again, is the label that this is on. Kiss-related stuff, as I mentioned before. Really good album. I really have enjoyed what I've heard from it. So yeah, Eric Carr, Rockology. This is Haunt with their third and latest album called Mind Freeze, led by Trevor Church, who does another band we're going to talk about in a bit. Straightforward heavy metal, a little Nawabum influence, but also some early Priest, a little bit of Thin Lizzy. Very catchy stuff. Simple but catchy is really Haunt's thing. And this one comes in a number of vinyl variants. I'm partial to the yellow and black pinwheel. Very cool. Anyways, this is Haunt with Mind Freeze. Next up is the debut record from Vltimas. This is Something Wicked Marches In. It's a bit of a supergroup of sorts. David Vincent from Morbid Angel is on this record. He does vocals and presumably bass, but I'm not sure who's doing bass on this record, to be honest. Also, Rune Eriksson. He's a guitar player from Mayhem and Aura Noir and probably some other stuff I don't know. Also, Flo Mornier on drums. He's from Cryptopsy. Really cool project. I'm really looking forward to more music from this. This is blackened death metal. You'll hear shades of each band these guys are in, kind of melded in. But really great stuff, and yeah, really cool. I like the gatefold. It's very nice. So there you go, Vltimas. Next up is Death with Live in LA, Death and Raw. This is a live album. It was recorded back in 1998 and released in 2001 originally, probably on CD. This is a reissue on vinyl, 2019 reissue, recorded live at the Whiskey in Hollywood. In fact, here is the marquee in the gatefold. The Whiskey, interesting choice. I mean, usually you think of bands like Faster Pussycat and Guns N' Roses at that kind of a place, but they had death metal as well. A good selection of death tracks. I would have liked more from their 80s output. I feel more akin to that. But you know, you have to please the prog metal kids too, so a lot of that's in here as well. Also available on DVD if you want to see the full show. So yeah, Death, live in LA. This is Ghost with their debut album, Opus Eponymous. And this is the album a lot of people got into with Ghost. Later releases were a bit different, and that divided a lot of metal fans to the point where quite a few of them don't like this band anymore. I'm a big fan of their entire output. I kind of get where they're going with the later releases. I kind of like some of the music they like and are incorporating later in. I definitely hear some sort of 70s psychedelic, sometimes prog rock that's associated with things like horror movies. I think of Goblin. So I get what they're doing and I like what they do, so it's not a big deal to me. This is a great album, traditional metal in some sense. It's definitely borrowing from Merciful Fate quite a bit, but also Blue Oyster Cult is in the mix too. So yeah, like this album. This is Ghost. This one's a really great compilation album from 1983. It was put up by Roadrunner Records. It's called Metal Battle. Some great bands on here: Raven, Battle Axe, Merciful Fate, Venom, Witchfind, Satan. A whole lot of UK bands, minus Anvil and Santers, whoever the heck they are. One interesting thing about this record and about indie compilations from this time is you hardly ever saw gatefolds. But here is one. Not a big fan of text in the gatefold. I usually like pictures, maybe live shots or just promotional photos, but really good stuff. Also, there's a Neat Records variant of this out there, so if you're looking for it, it might be on that label as well. So, cool comp. Metal Battle. Next up is Sepultura with Above the Remains, and this is a live album. They're calling it a bootleg, but I don't know why that is. Rhino Records put it out for their Rocktober series. Rocktober is a thing every year. In October, they put out a bunch of limited edition vinyl, usually exclusive stuff. So this is it. This is a live album recorded in 1989 on the Beneath the Remains tour. And what's interesting is this material and this album have been previously unreleased. The material itself was pulled largely from the cassette collection of Monty Connor. Monty Connor was a VP at Roadrunner, so it's from his private collection, so you haven't heard this stuff yet unless you've heard this specific record. And really good stuff. Primitive Future, Inner Self, Escape to the Void, Troops of Doom, Beneath the Remains, and more. So I'm pretty excited to hear this. I haven't heard it yet, and it is on red vinyl, so good stuff. Sepultura. Next up is Midnight with their fourth album entitled Rebirth by Blasphemy. This is a 2020 release. Really excited to get the other three albums. I've been getting into this band pretty hard. They are blackened speed metal, and there's a strong Venom influence in here for sure, especially early Venom. You might appreciate that. This is actually one man doing this whole band, at least on the vinyl. There's Athanar. He's your fella there in the cloaked mask. Good stuff. Similar to other bands that are one-man bands, they have a touring band with more than one guy, obviously. Chris Black comes to mind for High Spirits. Other bands are doing it too. It's pretty all right. I really love this album a lot, and it comes in a number of vinyl variants, one of which is, as I try to pull it out, is this Oxblood and Grey variant. Obviously Metal Blade Records. This is actually their debut on Metal Blade. So, pretty cool stuff. Midnight. Rebirth by Blasphemy. Next up is Beastmaker with Eye of the Storm. This is Trevor Church's other band. I mentioned Haunt. Now I'm mentioning Beastmaker. A bit different from Haunt. This is more of a doom metal band, though he sings in both, so you're going to hear some vocal similarities at times. It's a 4-song EP. Really looking forward to a following LP release very soon. A couple interesting things. One is the rather odd vinyl variant. I don't even know what to call that. It's a big black blob on yellow. So we can call that big black blob on yellow. Also, what's interesting about both the Haunt and the Beastmaker albums is the inside lyric sheet, which has this strange, almost filmic quality to it. You can actually hear this. Very strange, but very thick and very shiny too. Yeah, so Beastmaker, you should check them out for sure. Great stuff. So this purchase is definitely inspired by my recent coverage of Cyclone's Brutal Destruction album. I did that for the most recent episode of the Vinyl Reacquisition Project, talking about Belgian metal bands in general. So right after I did that episode, I went down to my local record store, and this was in the bin. And this is Killer with Shockwaves. This is a Belgian metal band from the 1980s. This was released in 1984. It's their third album. It's a combination of speed and traditional metal. There's a little bit of hard rock thrown in. They also get a little bit of Motorhead worship accusations here. I think that's somewhat true. I don't think the voice is anything like Lemmy's. It's more falsetto, but pretty good stuff. I'd like to hear more from this band for sure. This is Killer. All right, let's talk about the Poppy album. This is I Disagree. This is her latest album. A bit of a brief prehistory on Poppy. Poppy was an internet sensation who did a lot of very short and very bizarre videos, gained a bit of a cult following on YouTube as a result. She then parlayed that into a musical career. She had a few pop albums, EPs, singles, and the like, but this is her first foray into metal, or kind of metal. It's pop metal, basically, or it's pop and metal kind of conjoining. Similar in some respects to baby metal. Baby metal has the cutesy Japanese girls, but also that hard, brutal music in the back. And she does a bit of that. She goes back and forth between pop and metal on this album, but also the interesting art direction she's going. She's definitely trying to look a bit darker. There's the back. And some good tracks on here. I usually like the stuff that is more metal-based, such as the title track, and Bite Your Teeth, and Fill the Crown. Also on this album, there's some 90s heavy musical influences. I hear a pinch of Garbage at times. I definitely hear some Marilyn Manson occasionally. I do hear some Orgy, too, which is pretty interesting. Also, I really dig the reprise on this album. It's found at the end of the last track, Don't Go Outside, where she revisits a few of her choruses from a couple of her more popular songs on this album. They kind of overlap. It's just a really nice way to end the album. Very cool. Also, the vinyl, I have the clear with red splatter variants. There are a number of variants. The hardest one to get is the white with black splatter, which I unfortunately didn't get. There was a pre-order and I missed out. But yeah, good old Poppy. Love her or hate her. I disagree. And that's it for another vinyl haul. If you liked some of these albums or disliked some of these albums, definitely let me know in the comments. Also, like, subscribe, share. You know the drill. You watch YouTube all the time, I'm sure. But anyways, that's it for now. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.